her head of department pacing to and fro like a bear astray in a grove of the BBC's pale furniture. When he recognised who she was, he stopped pacing about and took off his spectacles, changing from a creature of sight to one of faith. Lees, the crowded office, the sandwiches, the tray with its white cloth suitable for grades of director and above, turned into patches of light and shade. To Lees, on the other hand, looking at his large hazel eyes, he became someone who could not harm her and asked to be protected from harm. The effect, however, was quite unplanned. He produced it unconsciously. All the old lechers and yearners in the building envied the success which he seemed to turn to so little account. "Sit down, Miss Bernard. Have all these sandwiches. You look hungry." When he had put his spectacles on again, he couldn't pursue the idea. Lees was decidedly overweight. "I like to get to know everyone who comes to work for me, and the shortest way to do that, curiously enough, I found, is to tell you some of the incomprehensible, bloody, idiotic lack of understanding that our department meets with every minute of the day." He sat down opposite the girl and considered her closely. "You know, even though I only saw you for a few minutes at the interview, I was struck by the width between your eyes. It's a sure sign of a certain kind of intelligence. I would call it an emotional intelligence." Lees wished that there was a looking-glass in the room. "Some people might find what I have to say difficult to grasp, because I let my ideas follow each other just as they come, but people whose eyes are as wide apart as yours won't have that difficulty." He took her hand and held it quite absent-mindedly. "You may find Broadcasting House rather strange at first, but there's nothing unusual about me, except for this, I suppose. It just so happens that all my energies are concentrated on one thing only, the recording of sound and of the human voice. That doesn't make for an easy life. Perhaps you know what it's like to have a worry that can't leave room in your mind for anything else and won't give you peace night or day for a single moment." Now something went not at all according to programme. Lees began to sob. Having no handkerchief with her, she struggled to her feet and heaved and streamed her way out of the room. "Bad news?" asked Teddy, meeting her in the corridor. Set on her way to the ladies, she only shook her head. "RPD's gone for one of them at last," he thought. "Geez, I don't blame him." But Della, expert in human behaviour, thought this impossible. "Why?" Teddy asked. "He's capable." If it was that, she wouldn't be crying. At night, with all its blazing portholes blacked out, Broadcasting House towered over a flotilla of taxis, each dropping off a speaker or two. It was coming up for the 9 o'clock news, a climax in the 24-hour cycle of the building, when the whole nation sat down to listen.
Penelope Wilton was reading Human Voices by Penelope Fitzgerald. It was abridged by David Dorwood and produced by Patrick Rayner. It was first broadcast on BBC Radio in 1992. In the next episode, the French General Georges Pinard visits Broadcasting House to speak to the British public, but his address is far from the morale-boosting talk everyone is expecting. That's tomorrow, at the same time.
This is BBC Radio 4
Extra.
Well, how do you like it?
It's 6 o'clock. Good evening. It's time for some classic comedy now on 4 Extra. Slow-burning romance in a moment. You might think being lifted off your feet by an undertaker doesn't sound very promising, but for Iris, Mortician Bernard is the one, for better or for worse. That's about to begin. Then there's enemy contact in Warmington-on-Sea, but while the Home Guard focuses on the threat from the air, the danger arrives by water. In Dad's Army at 6:30. So, love is in the air once more, or should we say, amour, as those hapless yet hopeful sweethearts, Bernard and Iris, are bound for France. And they sure could do with the break from his dad and her mum.
We present Gordon Kay as Bernard and Sue Parla